Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, great. Yes, 2 thumbs up even. Yay. Thanks, Nancy. Good morning. Good morning. It's lovely to be with you all in person. Wow. 3 dimensions. Sweet. It still surprises me after 2.5 years of Zoom. So let's begin with sitting together, and I'll offer a very lightly guided sit just to help us settle. So, arriving in this body, arriving in this moment in time. And bringing awareness to this body sitting, or maybe at home you are lying down if your body needs to lie down right now because of pain or self-care. The position of this body. And if there is movement needed right now, rolling back the shoulders perhaps, maybe trying to sit up a little straighter, just a tiny bit, just to bring more awareness, more uprightness, more sense of integrity and alignment. And feeling the connection of your body to the earth. If you're sitting on the cushion, feeling your bottom on the cushion, your legs, your feet. If on a chair, the bottom of your feet on the earth. Feeling grounded. There might be a lot happening. Maybe a lot has happened before you got here, physically, figuratively. It's okay. It's all right. That can be happening still. It's like a globe. It's like a snow globe that's shaken, still settling, still settling. It's okay. Set the snow globe down on the earth. Feel grounded. Feel the connection of it. Feel the stability of this body while all the flurries settle. The flurries, it's okay. But be aware, pay attention. Pay attention. This moment is precious, fleeting. Pay attention. Let the breath move, however it wants, deep, shallow, move through the body, not controlled. Let the body be relaxed, soft. The mind be soft. When the body is relaxed, the mind can relax. Checking in with the forehead, softening if needed, the jaw, neck, shoulders, eyes in their socket. Let them relax. Moving down, arms, hands, chest, abdomen, sit bones, and legs and feet. Really landing, arriving more deeply every moment. Welcoming each and every in-breath and out-breath. Every in-breath like spring. Every out-breath is like the fall, leaves falling and letting go. Appreciating the arrival of each in-breath like a gift. And appreciating the letting go in each out-breath. With equanimity. Every moment a new arrival and a new letting go. Arising and passing, arising and passing. Such is the nature of human life. Pay attention. And if you find your mind is traveling to distant places, memories, plans, it's like the snow globe is getting shaken again. It's okay. It's all right. Notice what has happened and set the snow globe down again and again and again. Become embodied. Connect with your body. Let awareness know that you're sitting and breathing. No judgment. No self-recrimination. Just gently set it down again and again. And connect with this passing moment. And this body, and this river of experience. The body, mind, and heart. letting the attention be turned inward to the flow of experience in the body. As a way of grounding, settling, and knowing change. Sensations keep shifting and moving. Maybe tingling in your hands, sit bones. Temperature shifting. Maybe feeling the abdomen expand and contract with each breath. This landscape of shifting, changing experience. It keeps changing. Stay with the change. Feel impermanence intimately for yourself, internally, with each moment. intimately knowing change internally in each moment, not as an idea, but as a felt sense experience firsthand. What do you notice? Does it stay the same? Does it keep shifting? The breath, sensations, thoughts keep arising, seemingly uncontrollably. Notice what's happening. Notice, pay attention. Know change. Get to know change intimately. And if at any point knowing change feels overwhelming, too much is changing internally, then feel the stability of the posture, being grounded on the earth. Feel the snow globe resting on the earth, stable, stability, stability, to support seeing change. can there be a sense of spaciousness, stability, groundedness in your body, in your mind, sitting upright, grounded, rooted, with change internally, making space, allowing for change, as it is the nature of all things. Can we welcome change? With stability, groundedness, equanimity. And not fight against it. It's all changing all the time. Can we intimately know this for ourselves, even for a split second? And as we bring this sitting period to a close, appreciating yourself for your practice, not judging what happened or did not happen. You did your best. You showed up and aligned your actions as best as you could with your intentions. Wonderful. Appreciating yourself for having shown up, practiced, and trusting there is goodness. There's goodness in this cultivation. And offering this goodness to yourself and all beings everywhere. May my actions, my practice, my wholeheartedness, without attachment to results, may my goodness be of service to all beings everywhere, including myself. May all beings everywhere be happy and free, including myself. Good morning. So you've been sitting for a while, and out of kindness to your body, I'm going to suggest you, if you like, you can get up and stretch for a minute while I get set up with my notes here. Give some love to those bodies. Okay. Okay. All right. Hi. Good to see you. Good to be with you. Yay. How nice. Just touches my heart to be in the room with you. This is so wild, right? Things we used to take for granted, or I used to take for granted, and now it's like, wow, I'm in a room with people. How nice is that? How awesome is that? Yeah, just really. Yeah, actually, I want to invite all of us because I'm really feeling the poignancy of being in a room with other human beings and listening to the Dhamma, sharing the Dhamma, supporting each other in this path. It's so poignant. And all of us have traveled, walked, or biked, or driven miles, I know. So thank you for being here. Really, thank you for each other, for being here. So for the topic for today's reflections, I'd like to invite us to reflect on change, on impermanence. You might have already guessed that from the invitations in the guided meditation. Yeah, you noticed? Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in the guided meditation, just to share what the intention was at the beginning to try to stabilize with the body, become stable, feel the grounding, because in order to know change, it's helpful to have a sense of stability, right? You remember the metaphor I used with the snow globe that's shaken, and it's like, everything is twirling, all the little bits and pieces. And when we arrive often on the cushion, our minds are like that, and set it down. Set it down. Yes, feel the body, feel the stability, feel yourself on the earth, on the ground. And in fact, the earth mudra, you see, the Buddha is touching the earth, right? Groundedness, groundedness. And the story of the earth mudra, as you see, many Buddha statues actually have the earth mudra. The story is that in the night of his enlightenment, the Buddha was assailed by Mara, the personification of doubt and all the other, you know, the full catastrophe that we have in our minds. I can't do this. And it's said that the story is that Mara it comes as doubt and says, "Who are you? You think you're going to wake up and awaken? Who do you think you are?" And with all of what's going on, the shaking, right? The shaking of all the little pieces, moving all the moving pieces in the mind, the Buddha touches the earth. As earth be my witness, I belong here. As earth be my witness, I belong here. And steadies himself, grounds himself. Hence the earth mudra. So remember, at any time the snow globe, the little pieces are twirling inside, and they do twirl, don't they? A lot, not just in sitting meditation, but throughout the day. Who do you think you are? Or this or that? Like, yes, it's okay. Ground, ground. So So in our guided meditation, I started with inviting you to ground with the body, feeling the connection to the earth, feeling the breath, relaxing the different parts of the body very briefly, because as the body relaxes, the mind can relax. They're so connected. And especially if you're a newer meditator, um, sometimes as a newer meditator, I remember I would sit and I would come and sit and like, okay, I'm trying to quiet my mind. It took me a while to realize, oh, I need to quiet my body first. If I really settle my body, if I really stabilize, pay attention to my body, stabilize it, ground it, oh yeah, the mind, it's like a little baby. It's like when you calm it, it's like, oh yeah, it falls asleep. It becomes, not sleep, but it calms. It becomes calmer when the body is calm. So, so again, coming back to the guided meditation, what we did is to settle in the body, relax, and then I invited you to notice change. I invited you to turn to change internally, starting with the breath. Each in-breath as a spring, arrival, new arrival, each out-breath as falling, as falling of leaves, as like the fall. And especially given that in Northern Hemisphere is the fall, as I was driving to IMC this morning, especially down Birch Street. Wow, all the leaves have fallen. It's so beautiful. There is a grace, there's a beauty in the letting go in the fall. So change, every breath, in-breath, a spring, every out-breath, a fall. And noticing the change, noticing every moment, sensations. There's tingling, moving, shifting, all of that, all change, to get to know change intimately. Because change, yeah, everything changes. We know that concept, yeah, everything changes, yeah, for sure, what's new? But really getting to know it intimately is an insight. It's actually a profound insight in Buddhism. It's what's known as one of the three characteristics of existence. And the three characteristics, as a review, the first one is impermanence, inconstancy, anicca. I'll talk more about that today. That's the focus of the reflections today. Anicca. The other one is dukkha. Dukkha, this word that often gets translated as suffering, but it actually, that's one translation. Another translation just as well could be stress or unsatisfactoriness or just things not quite being right. It's like, it's never right. Do you notice? Get yourself comfortable. It's like you're okay for a few minutes. It's like, it's not quite right. Right? It's that sense of dukkha is just that. Is that, these are not quite right ever. Even if you get conditions, perfect. Anicca, impermanence, dukkha, unsatisfactoriness, and anatta, impersonality or not self, which doesn't mean that you don't exist and there isn't a self, but it means that it's impersonal, it's ungovernable. And these three characteristics actually relate to each other. They're all different aspects of one another. When something is inconstant, keeps changing, right? Anicca. When something is inconstant, it's ungovernable. It just can't quite fix it, get it in one place, right? Hence, anatta comes out of that. And also, when something keeps changing, you can't quite make it satisfactory and let it stay that way, right? So these three are different. It's like the light coming through a diamond and just the refraction just going out different. It's the same light, but you just see it in different ways in your experience. So impermanence, such an important thing to contemplate, to actually become aware of. It's really liberating. It's a liberating reflection, and it's not bad news. It's not like, everything changes. Okay, might as well. That's not the idea here. But to actually appreciate that things change. They're not going to stay this way. They change all the time. Like this quote from Seido Rei Ronchi, from The Examined Life. And they say, wisdom is not merely something to be gained with old age. One can be wise in every stage of one's life. To manifest wisdom means simply to step back and see, to reflect, inquire, be aware, be disciplined, and be focused not once in a while, but all the time, moment to moment. This life is precious and fleeting. Pay attention. Pay attention. This life is precious and fleeting. Pay attention. So one aspect of appreciating impermanence is not to have the delusion of permanence, because we have the delusion of permanence. That's the modus operandi that as human beings we operate on. And it's not our fault. It's just evolutionarily we're designed to think, oh yeah, things are fixed. And you just think about tomorrow and the day after and the next year and the next decade is going to be fixed and nothing's going to change. And things are changing all the time. It's not going to stay this way. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Especially this being the Sunday before in North America, in the U.S. being Thanksgiving next week. Appreciate giving thanks. Things are not going to stay the same. They're shifting and changing all the time. People you appreciate in your life, people whom you love and care about, people who annoy you, appreciate them. All these relationships are impermanent. They are so impermanent. We're so impermanent. We just don't quite connect with it. We feel like maybe we do connect with it intellectually, but not on an insight level. There are different levels of insight, and I'll also talk about this a little more in a moment. So, the word anicca, again, impermanence. If you notice in many Buddhist teachings, teachings on impermanence keep coming. Impermanence, impermanence, impermanence. And impermanence is a doorway, really deep insight into impermanence. It's a doorway to nibbana, to liberation, to the mind opening up, becoming freed up. It is a doorway. It's not just something nice to do or have, but this is the way. So pay attention. Pay attention to change. Pay attention to how you react to change. I'll say more about that in a minute, but I'll say something about the word. So anicca in Pali, this word is spelled A-N-I-C-C-A, and the C is pronounced as cha. Instead of anicca, it's actually anicca, A-N-I-C-C-A. And in Pali, the word literally means inconstant. And it arises from the synthesis of two separate words, one being nicca, and the privative a, which negates everything. So nicca means it's the concept of continuity and permanence, and a means not, so not permanent. And Suzuki Roshi, the author of Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, and the founder of San Francisco Zen Center, once they were asked by a student who came to them and said, I've been listening to your lectures for years and I still don't understand. Can you please express Buddhism in a nutshell? And so he did. He replied, everything changes. That's Buddhism in a nutshell. Everything changes. Everything changes. Everything changes. Everything changes. Everything changes. So when we fight that, right? Do you notice in your heart if we fight that, everything changes, when we fight that, we suffer. When we make peace with that, yeah, everything changes, yeah. This body changes, it ages. It's age, it's gonna age, it's gonna die. Everything, everyone I love, they'll change. I'll be separated from everything I love. Everything changes. Everything. It's just the nature of things. Everything changes. When you make deep peace with change, when you make peace with that, your heart is liberated. It's not constantly, whenever change happens or the thought of change, like, it relaxes. It's freed. You can have equanimity to hold change. You can still grieve. It's okay. You don't become a robot. It's still okay to have emotions and grieve. It's fine. But there is this sense of ease. There's a sense of ease and not fighting with how things are. Another quote from Suzuki Roshi, continuing that. So he says, everything changes. There is nothing to stick to. That is the Buddha's most important teaching. So today's topic is the Buddha's most important teaching, according to Suzuki Roshi. Everything changes. And change is so around us. It's within us, it's around us, on so many different levels. Geologically, we can see cultures, and when we go to historical places, perhaps if we travel and we see different civilizations that have come and gone. I remember years ago I went to Cambodia, to Angkor Wat, and seeing the glamour, the grandeur of the Southeast Asian civilization, and wow, how things have changed, and made me realize, oh, this civilization, the Western civilization, there were the Roman and the Greeks, and now, there is the United States in some ways, and the hegemony of the U.S., and it's all impermanent. We're just part of this ocean of change. So larger levels, historical, and then chapters of our lives, right? You're not a child anymore. You're not a teenager. It's all gone. Who are you? And not just that, not just chapters of your lives, but of your life, but also every day since you woke up this morning. How many thoughts, how many emotions, how many reflections have you had? Like, since you arrived here at IMC or turned on the YouTube channel, like how many thoughts, how many sensations, like it keeps changing. It keeps changing all the time. Your body, your mind, it just keeps changing. Just this, it's like a waterfall when you actually start to notice. So when invitation in practice, in meditation, is as I invited you in the guided meditation, and then again this was a short meditation and short time to contemplate change, but say on long retreats, when your mind is really stable and quiet, And actually, it can happen in short sits too. So not to say it can't happen, but um, the mind, when the mind can be, if the mind is quiet, it can happen anytime. If the mind is really present, you start to get to see that experience is like a waterfall. Experience is like a waterfall. So much changing, shifting all the time, all the time. And what's so seeing change. So when we see change, our minds can react in many ways. And often the first reaction that our minds have is resistance. And that it's natural. Don't blame yourself. This is just what happens. When we see change, our minds tend to resist it. We don't want it. We want things to stay the same, unless we want impermanence to be on our side. And sometimes impermanence is on our side, right? It's like I don't like the situation. Impermanence, change it, please. Except for that, usually we don't like change. We're scared of it. Perhaps there's a sense of unsettledness or fear that can arise, because sometimes even if things are uncomfortable, then at least it's what we know. It's a devil we know versus the devil we don't. Oh, we don't want change. Maybe it's a relationship that's not quite happy, but we know it. We don't want change, right? So being afraid of change. And we often blame ourselves, we blame others. There's a sense of blame with the resistance that can come. We don't want our bodies to change, our minds. One concept here, which I really like to it's a when I heard it the first time, something lit up for me. Like, yeah, that makes sense, of course. So, as I was saying earlier, if we resist change, we suffer. And one way to see that is a rope burn, right? When there's a rope and the rope keeps going and we're trying to hold on to the rope really, really hard, really, really tight, we get rope burn. You know what rope burn is? Yeah, your hands. So notice when when you don't want things to change. So let's turn to why is this teaching on impermanence? Why is it one of the most important teachings of the Buddha? Let's contemplate that for a moment. Why would it be? There's so many different teachings, right? Why this one? Why this one? I'll share a sutta reference. This is from Majjhima Nikaya 37, the shorter discourse on the destruction of craving. And this is a translation quoted by Joseph Goldstein. So pay attention. In seeing impermanence, the mind doesn't cling. It's not agitated. When it's not agitated, it personally attains nibbana. I'm going to read this again. This is not just poetry, so it sounds beautiful, but these are actually instructions as to how to practice, how to become free. It's very clear, step by step by step. Pay attention. By the way, there have been examples where people have given Dharma talks, people have listened and they have suddenly become awakened. So pay attention. This might just happen to you. There's always hoping. So here we go, Majjhima Nikaya 37. In seeing impermanence, the mind doesn't cling. When the mind doesn't cling, it's not agitated. When it's not agitated, it personally attains Nibbana. Yes? There's always hoping. A couple of things to be aware of. One is that impermanence is not supposed, this insight into impermanence is not supposed to be used as a spiritual bypass. Be very careful about that. Oh yeah, everything changes, whatever, no point, yeah, whatever, I'm just going to go and lie there and let things change. That's not wisdom. So it's not that nothing matters, it's that actually things are even more precious. This life is precious. Pay attention. It's impermanent. It actually imbues. When the heart is free and not agitated, then it has more capacity for beauty, for goodness, for love, for service, instead of being threatened by every shift and change. Aging, loss, death, it's okay. These are part of the human experience. Can we appreciate, value it all, and live and love fully in the midst of all the change? So it frees the heart to love more, not to not care and say, yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's quite the opposite, you see? So please don't use impermanence as an impermanent slap, to slap it on as spiritual bypass, or it doesn't matter. Quite the opposite. Truly, as an insight, it allows one to care more and love more deeply. It also allows one to develop, to drop into different levels of perception from the content into the process, right? Because we are often stuck with the content. But when we see impermanence, we get to see the process. We get to see change itself, not the thing, but the process. We get to drop down a level from the movie of our life, being an actor, we're still an actor, but we step out a little bit and we see the movie on the screen. Oh yes, we are an actor. Yes, we still love, we still care. We still care, but it frees us up to actually love and care more freely, not to be so attached to things that are impermanent. Of course they're impermanent. Let's wake up. Waking up, Nibbana, let's wake up to the fact that things are impermanent. And they are beautiful, they're precious, they're wonderful, but not to be threatened all the time because of that. So there's more I can say, but I think I would like to pause, and maybe what I like to do is to turn it around and ask you a couple of questions. So, if you will. So one is, in the meditation earlier, is there anything that came up for you? Anything that in your first person experience And now the meditation was, gosh, a whole, 30 minutes, an hour ago, so much has happened, so much content. You might have forgotten all about it. But if there was something that really jumped out for you when the invitation was given to observe change in your first person experience, for the benefit of others, I'd like to invite you to share. Let's open up to that if there is anyone or anything that comes out. And if not, it's okay too. Yeah, great.
Hi there. Oh, okay, that's a little bit loud. But so the thing that I noticed is that I have in the past tended to experience sensation on a kind of like mental map of like where I think the body should be and what it should be like. And then you kept emphasizing like personal experience. I was like, oh, ow, like I'm just like actual like experience like there instead of on leg of the like mental map, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. Nice. Great. So what I hear happened for you is usually you experience sensations as if it's a mental map, as it's like it's out there. It's like, oh yeah, there's the leg, there's motion. Whereas today what happened for you is like, oh, it's right here. There's like, look at that. It's moving, it's changing, it's shifting. Wow. Beautiful. Thank you. This is great. Stay with that. Because that's how the intimacy of this insight arises from that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. I recently took a class with Bob Stahl on the 32 parts of the body. And for me, the meditation was being aware of your bodily processes and all of the sort of birth and death that's constantly going on just within your body.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that, Nancy. Yeah. Wonderful. It's just this awareness of the constant birth and death and the processes in the body. And the way I hear you, because you've done this practice now with Bob Stahl, great, the 32 parts of the body. I'm hearing a sense of, oh wow, this is what it is. It's like, because again, that sense of fear or disgust or whatever it might be, it can arise, but after a while, when one actually really stays with it, wisdom arises. Oh yeah, this is how it is. I usually ignore it, I push it under the carpet, but wow, isn't this amazing? This body that is mine, but yet not quite mine? Like, how did this even happen, right? I've been born as this body, and it keeps changing and moving and digesting, and like I don't have any healing, and I don't have any control over this. It's just this awe, this amazement for being human can be born out of this sense of impermanence. Thank you. And again, all of this is about loving, living more fully, being more fully human. It's not about nihilism. If your practice goes into, no, it doesn't, it's all changed, don't care, like it's gone off the rails. Okay. Now, any other reflections in the few minutes we have left, or any questions from what has been, or any reflections that might have come up from what's been shared today? Yeah, please.
Yeah, thank you for what you both shared. I really resonate with that. And I just appreciated the metaphor of the snow globe. And oftentimes I find when I sit, it's like, stop moving, snow globe. Like I just want to like control it to settle it down, and just allowing things to settle naturally was really helpful. So thank you.
Great. Thank you for that. Yeah, I love the snow globe as well. Yeah, it's just such a nice metaphor, so gentle, right? It takes a while for all the flurries to settle and this sense of groundedness. Yeah. Back there, please.
Thank you.
I just had a question about the personal enlightenment that you talked about.
Yeah.
As opposed to what? When it's impersonal enlightenment, or?
Yeah. Thanks for catching that. Yeah. This is interesting. So yeah, it's this is an interesting I'm trying to find in the sutta that I shared, and the part that is translated as when it's not agitated, it personally attains nibbana. So various interpretations about that. One is the personal versus the universal, right? Because these are universal insights that we have, but it actually, it's in order to have have insights into the nature of things as they are, the only way to do that isn't to think about, we don't start thinking about how things work. That's not how this practice works. It's very personal. It's you study, you pay attention to your sensations, the doors of the sensations, sounds, thoughts, Vedana, feeling, tone, liking, disliking, all of the personal. Just as you become the laboratory. And through the personal, when you study these personal things, when you realize, oh, when I cling, wow, it really hurts. You really get to see that. You really get to feel that. And when you see that, oh, when I let go, for example, there is freedom, there is peace, there is ease, there is more space for love and care for others. So it's all of these universal insights are through the personal studying, which seems nitty-gritty, like, wait, I'm becoming really self-centered, I'm sitting on the cushion and just, noticing my breath and sensations, but it's really through the personal that we get to the universal. Otherwise it becomes waxing philosophy. So one way to interpret this line, personally attains nibbana, is this personal, through the door of the personal to the universal. I'm sure there are other interpretations too, but I leave you with this one. Thank you. Yeah. Maybe one last reflection, if there is one. Yeah, Violet.
A few years ago when I was meditating very regularly, I put the daily remembrances on my wall, and they were a source of great sort of joy and peace. And then as my meditation sort of comes and goes in regular practice, sometimes I look at them and I'm like, gross, I should take those down. There's like aversion to it. And I guess something I've experienced impermanence with in the last year is like impermanence in my like belief and faith in like Dharma teaching. And is that kind of impermanence okay? Like the impermanence of just like belief that it's hard to maintain faith that contemplating impermanence actually brings more peace than suffering.
Yeah. So thank you for that, for bringing that in. Various things you said. So when you talked about, previously the 5 reflections being up and then being a source of joy, and now it sounds like, disgust. And seems like that is a part of this shift in your faith. About how, and it seems like more general than is contemplating impermanence. Does it really lead to freedom, or does it lead to more suffering? I mean, sounds like that's part of the doubt, but seems like there might be more to it, right? Do I hear more? So does this path bring more peace, or does it bring more suffering? I wonder. Or am I putting words in your mouth, Violet?
I think that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's okay. It goes through, I think the crux of your question is, does one's faith or trust does it also shift and change? You're not the first practitioner I've heard of where the faith comes and goes, or this sense of trust becomes stronger or weaker. And I would say actually this is it's a natural part of the process, and it might be a maturing. It might be maturing. So, because sometimes we might have a blind faith, maybe, this might be the case, may not be, but for some, there might be a sense of finding, say, the teachings of the Dharma and jumping into it, so there could be a sense of blind faith. And then later, wondering, wait, actually, does this work? Does this piece work for me? Does this piece not work for me? And becoming more discerning about what pieces work for you, what pieces don't work, and then maybe in that discernment, maybe something happens that we throw the baby out with the bathwater. So that could be a part of what's happening. And that's okay, it's natural. So we throw the baby out with the bath. This doesn't work, this is terrible. And then it's like, wait, actually, I miss it. Wait, that thing did work. There were things about that really worked. So we start to bring in pieces and with a verified faith. So you might be going through that, the phase of throw the baby out with the bathwater. Then hang in there. Hang in there. It's part of the path. It's part of hanging there so that your trust becomes a personal, verified trust in what actually works for you. Because knowing you now for a while, I know that there are aspects of that practice you've done. It's having heard from you firsthand. You've grown and you've become wiser, kinder, more compassionate, and that can't change. So going through this period is okay. Hang in there. Does that help?
Thanks. I feel like that really describes what's been going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. All right. So thank you all for spending this time together, coming to IMC, either physically or virtually. Thank you all for your practice. May you be well. May you be safe. May you be kind to yourself and others. And may our practice serve all beings, including ourselves. Thanks, everyone.